Okay, I'm going to say a few things about this. We've got to put a bracket to hold our trigger and our revolving mechanism here. And all you got to do from the line that we cut down from the top that's equal to the bottom of the barrel here, you measure up just a little past to see to get past the middle of our revolving piece here. And from what I'm reading is I just chose a random number a little past here, and it's 2 3/4. Then you want to measure from the back here a good 1.5 to 2 inches up in the barrel. And I've got 6 right here, so I've cut out 2 pieces. These are them. And all you'll have to do is whenever you get everything situated like you like, you'll go in there with a pencil and trace all of your curves out and everywhere you want to cut and make it pretty. You know, you don't want just a big old square blob sitting on there. So that's the next thing I'm going to do. And then the next thing is we've got to figure out what our ratio is between our trigger and our revolving piece here. Now that's probably the trickiest thing in this build to do. So we're going to make a little jig and test it before we actually put it to the test or put it on the gun. So let's get after it. Okay. This right here is probably the hardest part of this build right here, is getting the trigger and the revolver to synchronize with each other. And you can tell I've got a bunch of test holes everywhere trying to figure this thing out. And depending on, I know y'all may have looked at it and counted all the squares across and everything, but you may have to modify your parts a little bit. You may have slipped with the bandsaw, or you didn't cut exactly to your line. I mean, there's a lot of factors. So all I've done is, what you want to do is, you want the very, very corner to touch the fish mouth right here. That's what I call it. It kind of looks like a fish with a little bitty tail on the trigger. So give it a lot of clearance up in here. That's why that 9-degree cut's in there. It could be just a rake cut if you wanted to, but the reason I leave that square cut in there, if you pull the trigger back far enough, you'll notice it catches on the back on the release. Excuse me while I kill this mosquito. Got him. Okay. Sorry about that. But this is just an option on the gun itself. You can hold the trigger in a certain location and it makes it fully automatic. So if you hold it in between, there is a ratio in there that you can feather that trigger and you can unload every bit of your ammo. So it's a real neat feature. But go through every one of them and be sure that they all mesh before you commit. So make sure all 4 of them do the same thing. Another cool thing is you can hold the trigger, and if you want to get a real precise shot, all you got to do is let go of the trigger and bam, it'll shoot it just like that. So be sure that you go through every one of them. Like I said, make sure they all mesh, because some of them may do well and others may not. I mean, it's all about the symmetry. If you think that you're real precise in your cuts, then go with it. But anyways, that's basically how that works. So just like that. Once you get that done, mark the holes that you nail through and drill all the way through, and that's what you'll use to mark your pattern for your barrel and your handle. Okay, I'm going to show you what I did to center everything up. So this is our blank piece right here. Our revolver is going to go up here, trigger is going to go down here. The grip is going to go back here just like this. So all I did was I took my mounting block and I just squared it up as close as I could, tried to make it parallel with the top here. I'll pick it up so you can see. Make this edge here parallel with that edge, just by eye. Okay. Now the trigger, you'll just have to look, because right here is where the body of it's going to end. So you just have to look and see if that's about where you want it. You can pull it up or down, doesn't matter. Just get it as close as you can. Okay, I like it like that. Take you a hammer, tap on your nails. Okay, and that's done marked where you need to drill. And there you go. Whoops. There you go. Both your marks. So whenever you get done, you can cut your round piece off for your handle. Okay, just like that. You'll drill both of these holes. This will be for your mechanism. And then we'll work on shaping the rest of this plywood to fit the handle in, because some of this is going to be access. You don't need all that. So let's take a look at it. I've gone ahead and marked out the rest of the foreplate right here that's got the trigger, I wouldn't call it a guard, but the trigger relief in there and everything, so you can get your finger up in there. And it's a little lopsided, but I'll clean it up with the sanding disc. But I've gone ahead and cut the back side here, and they're identical to each other, and all I had to do was just tape them together more or less, and that's what I'm about to do again. So just line them up the best you can. Take your piece of tape, just wrap it around it pretty much. Especially something small like this, when it's hard to get a clamp on it when you want to make a duplicate, tape's the best way to go. And I may put one more piece up here. I'll just have to cross over my line across there, but I'm going to cut out all my little notches and nooks and crannies and go from there. Okay, I went ahead and cut out my foreplate right here on both sides, and I've temporarily assembled it to make sure all the mechanical components are working correctly. So basically all you want to do is hold your trigger back just a little bit and make sure your revolver advances on every click and doesn't go past. Okay, we went all the way around, and everything seems to be working. Now, pretty much that is complete, but it's kind of ugly, and we're going to fix it up a little better than this. Okay, to cover up the nails here, because one, they're sharp and you don't want anybody to cut themselves, and to give it a little bit more interesting look, instead of try to glue these in here or anything like that, normally what I would always do is get 2 pieces of 1/4-inch plywood and laminate them together, and then cut you out some little strips, and you can use them for your covers pretty much. And all I would do is just center it up my eye, take a blunt instrument, something to hit with, and you'll tap on there and get your 2 locations for where to drill. And then when you get that done, you can drill out your holes on the drill press and come back and put them on top of there and glue them. And you can round the edges over like I did right here, or do whatever you like. You can do little intricate little patterns or however you want to do it, pretty much. But that being said, you can go ahead and glue them on. Get a little glue here. And you'll be ready to almost be done. A little more fine sanding and a coat of your choice in finish. Bob's your uncle. Get that side on. We'll put the other side. Okay, I'm going to show you how to load the gun now. Now the rubber bands that I use for this one are size 16. They said they can stretch up to 15 inches, which that's pretty good for as small as they are. These are actually really small rubber bands. But anyways, all you got to do is start up here at the top and pull it back all the way to the revolver. Okay, so that's one on. So what you do is you take the revolver and you make it back to one click. You see it pulls the trigger back until the trigger moves forward, and then you put another one on. And you just do the same thing, and you can load however many you want on there. I've loaded as many as 12 on there in one run. I'm sure that you can put more on there. I mean, it's very possible. I mean, the weakest part of this whole thing is the nails that are holding the revolver together, and they've got a good bit of support in there, so I don't think rubber bands will fail that, but they may. The only thing is, you can tell, if you can see down in there, those rubber bands, they wind around that nail, so it creates a lot of binding stress when it goes, when you put a lot of them on there. So anyways, you just keep loading however many you want on it. Now, I said earlier in the video that these pistols are fully automatic if you want them to. Now, I got unlucky on this one. I got the ratio a little wrong on the revolver and the trigger. I've made some in the past. If you get the ratio right, you can hold the trigger in a certain location and it'll unload all the ammo at once. This revolver will sit there and just spin, and it'll just shoot them all. But this one won't do it. So, got a little unlucky. Anyways, it still will go in rapid fire, just semi-automatic. Fast as you want to pull that trigger, it'll unload every one of them. Alright, well guys, there's the completed project. Let's test it out, see if it works. Do yourself a favor, when you make one of these, get you 2 pieces of 1/4-inch plywood and laminate them together, glue them together, and cut you out some little rectangles. Make great targets. Alright, let's try it. Well, there you go. So pretty cool. But guys, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it, and I hope it inspires you to build some of your own. So once again, from Classic Work, y'all take care.